Let's do some real tarot now. Yeah, man, I love talking about spirituality. You know, the psychic attacks have been really, really heavy lately. It's and this is where mental fatigue happens because we understand how to surrender, but the more that we enrich ourselves in the now, the stronger the psychic attacks come. For example, I would always feel my ex's energy. And I would feel my mom's energy until I stuck up for myself in the signs and synchronicities that manifested for me to project who I am in real time. Because there's no better way to cast judgment over people who see no wrong in their actions than actual in real time manifestation of God's presence. I have holes in my shoes, like really bad holes. And I saw my ex about 2 months ago. We hung out. Man, it was brutal. But, it was a journey. Like I had to see him with new eyes. So he emailed me saying that his grandpa died because I emailed him. I was like, "Yo, man, I left a really nice pair of running shoes in his car." And he's like, "Fuck you and your fucking tennis shoes. My grandpa just died. Go fuck yourself. Never talk to me again." So he sent me that email. I go about my day. Somebody on Facebook, I don't know them, but they appreciate my spiritualism, sent me a Facebook message. The Book of Enoch, Ezrael, is really cool. So I Googled who is Ezrael in the Book of Enoch. It was the angel of death. Literally 40 minutes ago, my ex emailed me saying his grandpa died. Some random guy messages me about Ezrael. I Google Ezrael. Ezrael is the angel of death. And I found it right at 333. So I took a screenshot and I sent it to my ex. My ex knows my gift, but he would spit on it. He would spit on my presence. My mom was extremely aware of my gifts, but she would spit on it and create more hate within my family, my brother, my auntie, and my cousin, her boyfriend, and his kids. Because the more you radiate with truth, the harder it is for people to hold masks because you stimulate growth just by existing. Because when you call back your power and you rise and you heal, you trigger karma. It's the age of energy. When two become one. My ex was a representation of my father womb for what I tolerated. My mother was the bully of my female bloodline. For my aunt's a bully. My nanny was a bully. My nanny didn't like me when I was a little girl because I wore black. She was brutal to my mom. She was brutal to me, and I was an innocent kid. Always saying horrible things about me. Oh, she's fat. Oh, she's weird. Da, 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 da. Same with my dad. So that was my environment growing up. Like everybody hated me just for existing, you know? And that's not a bad thing. It was just my way to learn to be. Like that's the only way I made it through in life by relying on an essence I felt as a child. I was bullied really, really hard one day at school. I was 8 years old. And that night, my mom was having like a dinner party. She had lots of dinner parties when I was a little girl. And she came and she laid me in bed, and I was like laying there and I started crying and I was like, I don't ever want to leave you when we die. And she's like, oh, don't think like that. Wow, this is just coming to me now. And then I cried myself to sleep because I didn't know why I was bullied at school. And I thought that the void I felt was just the bullying at school. But in hindsight, if that was my childhood of neglect, then surely I would probably manifest some kind of bullying at school because we truly mirror what our trauma is inside. I'm a very special person when it comes to astrology birth placements. My birth placement is a reflector. It's 1% of this global population. I'm 1%. And I'm not trying to be like, whoa, it was me, but I'm just trying to share with you. I now understand why my life was so hard. Because I felt so much confusion and betrayal from the age where I could really start understanding emotions too, till I finally broke off from everything at the age of 30. So I had 30 years of hardcore life lessons. And for the last 3 years, my identity has been crushed through losing 150 pounds. I went from fat and rejected to thin and wanted. Total mental shift. Because it's like I was always in here. I was always in my mind. But I had to get a surgery because I was powerless over like my habits of discomfort, which was eating. I had food addiction. I went from party girl in high school to, once every few months, roundhouse, like man, I was a young mom, to food addiction. And then when I started losing my weight through my weight loss surgery, I was dating an alcoholic. So my lifestyle kind of mirrored his lifestyle. I always mirrored a version of trauma in my life for character development. My ex was my need for validation because I was losing so much weight, and his rejection triggered my father. So I had to fight for his love. When I started losing my weight, my mom's side of the family shunned me. Like my auntie would comment on my pictures and be like, take that down. Do you not understand how hard it is for other people to lose weight? Instead of seeing my life from start to finish when she used to hate my mom. And now that my mom's a millionaire, they're like this. Like you just see through so much fear and deception. But the beauty of overcoming that mountain of fear and deception is the ability to see your worth, your fucking worth, that no one can ever take from you. No fucked up dynamic because you are the reflector. How is my inner dialogue? What am I still gripping to that I must release? Because the patterns are profound. Whether it be a repetition of never winning with my family, no matter what, no matter what, to seeing a potential in a man who refuses to acknowledge his wrongs. So what am I doing there? I'm giving my pain. Every time I think of those connections, it triggers a response, which then creates a new loop. So salvation is rising to see your enemies as truly forgiven, for they are a byproduct of your generational trauma in real time. Hence, all will be forgiven.